Okay. I've been at this for some time now, and I don't feel like I get it any more than I did yesterday. I like the content, but reading this is just so much work. I want to expand, but there has to be a better way. Let me try this again. Okay. If one takes seriously Girard's hypothesis that mimetic desire is constitutive of subjectivity itself, then the sacrificial structures analyzed by Durkheim and Freud must be reread in light of a theological anthropology that refuses to separate the emergence of the sacred from the genesis of social differentiation. Pause. If you understand that, you're versed in prose. If not, let's get you started. Read the passage again and see what you can understand from it. Reading prose from some of the greatest minds can feel like a wake in a world where everything is familiar. But when put together, these familiar pieces become strange things. The extract is an artificially generated excerpt exemplifying Wolfgang Pahlaver's interpretation of René Girard's mimetic theory. There are many passages that sound like this, and the book is filled with deep references and compounding conceptualization. Much of it will not make sense the first time, but this book can be understood. If you can't make sense of what is being said, then it'll be very difficult to understand why what's being said isn't making sense. The first step to doing anything is believing that you can do it. So, when I asked you to read the passage and decrypt the meaning, did you do it? Or did you feel like, it's a lot of work? If you did the latter, try again. Here's another opportunity to read the passage and make sense of it. Now, was it a lot of work? Or do you just not have the skill to do it yet? Do you believe you can possess this skill? That which the mind can conceive and the body can achieve, the will propels them both until they succeed. As a wanting person, you must believe that you can meet the demands you make of yourself. Before you pick up a book, know why you pick up the book. That reason which you choose for yourself will set the tone for all the understanding that will follow. Okay, realistically speaking, it'll take forever to finish this book. It's so complex. I hear what it's saying, but there's something I'm not getting. It does a lot I'm not getting. There has to be a book that is written better than this. This is an interesting topic, but maybe I can find an author who's passionate and better at writing, because this is not it. No. I am not about to subject myself to such. Pahlaver's style is fitting for those who know their stuff, and a bit of his stuff. His deep referential style can ensnare the attentive mind, rewarding the prepared reader with an almost musical coherence, while the unsteady are left tracing echoes in the dark. Unless you identify the actual barriers to understanding his work, which aren't in the book, you will struggle to appreciate his attention to detail and verbosity. Very few serious books take the time to define things or explain themselves in plain, everyday words. Such generosity would swell their pages and flatten the meaning. And so, with every new book, you return to the dictionary for the words you feel you understood, until you tried to paint what you felt, and the canvas stayed bare. You quickly realize that comprehended English is largely implicit. Definitions are acquired through association with every new story that you consume, and rarely do we pause to define how we feel unless confronted with a situation that demands we articulate ourselves. A seeker keeps a dictionary with him at all times. Otherwise, his inferred definitions will leave him with more confusion than the writer could ever hope to prevent. Yes, found it. Wanting, The Power of Mimetic Desire by Luke Burgess. Yeah. Okay. This is actually a very interesting topic. I remember reading some of this in the first book, but this author just says it in a way that I can understand so well. Like, I don't get it. Just do the same thing, Palaver. Come on. Wow. Okay. The seeker's frustration with the writing style was addressed. Once he acquired the elementary book, he cascaded through it with understanding unlike before, which left him yearning for more. His wanting of more led him back to the original book, René Girard's Mimetic Theory, rendered by Wolfgang Pahlaver. With the skills the seeker now had, the only thing that stands between him and his awakening is time. The seeker couldn't grasp the meaning of his initial book, but he felt it held something essential, something he was meant to find. Wow. There's very little we know about ourselves. I need to read Pahlaver's work. This is crazy. The first few hundred pages of René Girard's Mimetic Theory capture everything that's in wanting. That's just the first, the 10% of the book. So, what's in the 90%? I need to get back to that book. I'm just gonna have to wrestle with that book. Okay, let's pick up where we left. Yes. If one takes seriously Girard's hypothesis that mimetic desire is constitutive of subjectivity itself, then the sacrificial structures analyzed by Durkheim and Freud must be reread in light of theological anthropology. Okay, I'm struggling with these words. Let me just define all these words and then try this again. Okay. If we take Girard seriously and believe that our desires come from copying other people, then we need to rethink what earlier thinkers like Durkheim and Freud said about sacrifice and religion. We can't treat religion as something separate from how species form and people divide into groups. So, for Girard, religion and society grow out of the same human problem: our shared imitated desires and the conflicts they create. Wow. Just wow. The seeker finally understood. The last piece to this puzzle of understanding was now with him. He reads feeling he now understands the trinity of understanding, but he's yet to know that he experienced the fourth element. Now he just has to become aware of it